Well, welcome to the ASMR. I can't sleep. I'm whispering right into this mic because I don't want to wake anyone up. But I wanted to change out these bins. Also, so much has happened, yet nothing has happened. I've had probably the worst week of my life. Oh, shh. Anyways, the moral of this story is I didn't have a good week. I think I know what's wrong. And I have some appointments and things like that to double check and fix everything. Yay, yay, yay. So moving on to the more pressing part, which is how depressing it is. Don't laugh at that. Anyways, my sleep is just really messed up from whatever's going on with me right now. I have a good team of doctors that are helping me and blah 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 blah. But in the meantime, I'm going crazy. I mean, not really, but a little bit. I ran out of bins. I only had 3. My Walmart only had 3. And I wanted 4 because there's the 4th. So I guess this will do for now. There's really no other option. But since I'm down here, I have a whole thing of laundry I can fold. So let's do that. Anyways, I have been feeling quite sad. I have to put this on my shirt to fold laundry, don't I? I have a ton of scarfy things for my hair and for my neck, both of the kinds of scarves, because they have proven amazing for me in temperature. These scarves have proved amazing for me for my temperature regulation, for wearing something big over my neck to distract from how awful I look and to give me something to my outfit, and for my hair as it's got a mind of its own and I don't have the energy to deal with it most days. So speaking of which, I should put one on now because, well, but I am very out of sight, out of mind. I don't know about you. So I can't remember which scarves I have. I don't remember to wear them, whatever, when they're in the like little dark bin things. Although I feel like they are holding more. I don't know what's in there. I forget. I don't wear them. Out of sight, out of mind. My object permanence is, you would think it's so insignificant, but for me, it has caused a ton of issues. So I thought, hey, well, why don't I get something that I can see through? And I tested it out with just these like cloudy whatever buckets I had to see like if I liked it first before I bought some and made the effort to go through everything. Anyways, so I thought it was decent. I lived with these for a minute. I thought it was decent, lived with these for a minute, and now I'm feeling confident getting these. So they have helped so far. I love it. And I can also look and see what's in it without having to pull out all of them and rummage through all of them, which when you don't have a lot of energy and your shoulders are all messed up and your wrist and your fingers are going out of the socket, I just don't want to spend a lot of time pulling and rummaging and doing all of that. It's a waste of my time and energy. Anyways, back to the story at hand. This week, I have not talked to a lot of human beings whatsoever because I've been awake for 3-hour increments at a time, and then I sleep for 5-hour increments. And I was diagnosed with narcolepsy many years ago in a different lifetime. And whether or not that's true is a whole nother complicated storyline going on here. But it feels like it this week. So that has made my life just a little bit more difficult. And I had plans last week to start to live my life, to be a different person. And I had a couple doctor's appointments, like all of these things. I had 3 things I was going to do last week that I was all excited about, and I ended up having to cancel all 3 of them because I could not stay awake long enough. And it's so random, I can't predict when I am going to fall asleep and stay awake, that I couldn't go to any of my appointments. I couldn't do any of the things. And so this has put me in a bit of a spiral. I'm sure you feel like, hey, this is a little deja vu. This sounds like a recurrent theme in your life. You'd be right. So I feel disappointed in myself for having to cancel plans. I feel sad and like I disappointed someone else because one of my plans was to hang out with a friend and I didn't get to do that. And I feel like it just comes with extra complications of like, you know, people think that you're just so flighty and unreliable, which is true. I am unreliable and flighty, but not because of me and my characteristics and my want and my desire, and certainly for not a lack of trying and pushing to do things, but because there are just so many times when I don't have control over my physical body, and or it just takes a minute. Whatever's going on with me now, it's not going to last forever. And I've already taken steps to make things better and whatever, but it still takes time. So, which brings me to the next thing. How much time do I need to start to live life? Like, am I trying to live life before I'm ready? But at the same time, what if I'm not ready for another year? Then do I just kind of not live life for another year? Or am I thinking too much about what living life means for me in a certain way that isn't really within my wheelhouse, accessible, will not bring me joy and a quality of life anyways if I push to do things that just make me sick, or you know what I mean? So the spiral of thoughts are happening, and it just is like, is this another setback? Because it's like every time that I'm like, I think I've got my hand on something, something else is happening, and something else is happening, and something else is happening. And like, even with, you know, I'm getting stronger with PT, which for me is helping a lot with managing things and being able to predict things in certain whatevers. I'm growing stronger. I'm still growing stronger, which means I'm still reaching new moments of me having to push harder and do more and add in different things and take away things as far as exercises and, you know, weights or this, that, or, you know, whatever. And it's changing my body so much that I'm still finding I'm running into new things that I'm like, oh, well, now I'm stronger in my legs, but it's caused an imbalance somewhere else, which has caused me pain, and then this or that, or whatever. Like, you get the point. You get what I'm trying to convey. Anyways, over-explaining myself. And I've talked about it before, recently, about how being up all night it's seen as such like a lazy thing in my mind. Probably because of just how I grew up or whatever. Like, I don't think that's the most uncommon, craziest thing for somebody to be like, oh, why are you up all night and not getting things done? Well, it's not a choice. It is not a choice. And then it's like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? And it's like, I'm not sitting idly by, but I also don't want to go through a checklist of things of what I'm doing and not doing with other people. And then this has also come up recently of like one of my friends, so nice, being like, oh, we can work with this and work with that, and, you know, we'll just do it like this, and we'll just do it like that, and we'll just figure this and figure that to make it more, you know, accessible for you or easier. Great intentions, but it makes me feel so awful. It makes me still feel so awful that other people are trying to help me and be my friend. No, it makes me feel so awful that it's like, well, you can just do this and you can do that, and the reality is I don't think I'm there to do those things. For instance, for example, so I take a lot of walks. I feel like for me and for where I am at, I can take walks. And I can walk for quite a bit. usually most of the time, like I go for a walk. I try to go for a walk most days of the week, especially if I'm doing less of my exercises for one reason or another, or don't feel well or whatever. Then I do whatever I feel like I can do and then go take the walk. It's good for you. That's what they say. All the people are walking is so great for you. So I like it. I like to walk and I like to talk. So walking, talking, that's me. If it's all that I ever did, I'd be happy. That's quality of life for me. I should probably write that down. Anyways, so I like to walk. One of my friends was like, oh, I would love to go walking with you on this trail. And I asked my questions, like, how long is it? What kind of trail? Whatever. Where is it? And I was like, I can do that. I walk most days. I can do that. I can do that. And the reality is, one, I have to go by someone else's schedule, not my body's schedule, to walk with my friend. And two, the way that it was set up. Obviously things could have changed, but the way that it was set up, that I was like, yes, let's do it. They have a life. So they were like, all right, this is what time I go walking, blah, blah, blah. Fine, it wasn't like early in the morning or whatever. So, but I am now subject to someone else's schedule, not my body schedule, which I don't think that's where I'm at right now, that is a luxury that I have. I don't think that's where I'm at, that I can just be on someone else's schedule. I think I need to ask for people to accommodate and be on my schedule. Two, the car. I have said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. I do horrible in cars. So just taking a little drive to go somewhere is already a complication that, I can't really deal with. And three, I'm still having episodes of symptoms that have to be managed and taken care of that aren't so nice. So that means it's just a lot more work. It's more things that I have to bring. It's me being with someone who probably doesn't know all of the things that's wrong with me and how to fix them, which is fine. It's not their responsibility. But if I am with them and something goes down, well, then I'm the one who suffers, And my life is complicated and painful and unpredictable enough. I don't want it. I don't want to do anything else that feels like suffering to me. I don't think that's not where I'm at in life right now either. I think there are times in my life where I pushed a lot more and I could, you do something and you have to recover from it and it's worth it. It's whatever. Staying up all night to, study for an exam. I don't know. I've never done that, I don't think, but I was homeschooled. So, but you know what I'm saying. You push to go hang out with friends and they want you to stay an extra hour and you're like, okay, fine, whatever it is. And I don't think I'm really at a place that I can push to do things. I feel like I'm a ton more stable. And if this is where I was in life for the rest of my life, it would not be the worst that I'm at. And I don't think it would be the worst ever. And that's also not where we're at anyways. Like, I still have a long way to go. I'm still learning a lot and healing a lot and managing a lot and changing a lot in my life and in my body. And I'm still getting a lot of results with all of those things. So that's neither here nor there, but it's in my mind because I'm like, if I stopped here, if my health all of a sudden we're plateauing, I want to be able to be content with that. And I want to still be able to have some semblance of what I think a life should look like. Like, I don't want to be by myself all the time. I don't think that's healthy because I read that it's not. And I believe it. I've lived that life. But also I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't know how to make that happen. And it's not, obviously, if I have friends who are saying such nice things and want to say things and to help me and be there, then I'm pretty sure I could be like, hey, can you come and take a walk with me on my terms for now? And if not, then can we do something else another day? Like, it's not the end of the world, but it feels like the end of the world to me. Oh my God, I'm crying. Why? Why does it feel like the end of the world to me? We're hitting things when you cry, when you're triggered, whatever, means there's something there that has to be dealt with. That's what I've been told, so I'm just going to continue to talk it out. Thank you for becoming my therapist tonight. This is wonderful for me. Okay, so it feels like the end of the world to me. What was I even saying? Oh. Right, because I want to hang out with people and stuff, but the thing is like, I appreciate so much that someone would make accommodations and even be thinking on their own, like, what can I do? Or you said last time that you couldn't do this, or this was hard last time, so, you know, I just thought it through. What if we did this instead? Okay. Anyways, so they're thinking through on their own. Like, how do I just hang out with you? Or how do we do this? Or how do we whatever? And so I should be elated. I should be so grateful, because I have not always had that in my life. I don't know. I can't really remember my life. I should be so grateful and elated that people are like that, because not everyone gets that. And I don't feel like I've always had that in my life, which could just be how I feel and not necessarily reality. I don't like the thought of someone else putting themselves out for me. I don't like the feeling and the thought of someone else making these, like, okay, well, what if we do this or what if we do that? And then me being like, that's not good enough. Because a lot of times it's not, and just because we do those things, it only lessens the chance of me having an episode or having symptoms or having a harder time. It does not get rid of that those things will happen. They probably still will, which is unfortunate and part of my life. And that part of my life might be there for a very long time, if not for the rest of my life. I don't know. And then how do I explain to someone that, like, oh, this is how I am now, but, 6 months from now I'm dealing with something different? Or like this past week has been, so they might be like, oh, well, we did all this and I made all of this accommodation for you and you still can't come? I don't know. I don't want to be a bad friend. And I don't want to be unreliable. And I don't want to be someone who is just always taking, or feeling like I'm taking advantage, or feel like I'm taking their energy, their time, their whatever. And for what? Like, I know I'm going to say something that's going to sound really self-deprecating, and just stay with me, because I'm taking all of these things to hang out with them, and what are they getting in return? They're getting an unstable me. And to be honest, I don't know if I even talk about this that much, but like, I get confused a lot. I'm not always there mentally. So I don't feel like I'm fun to talk to all the time. And obviously, I'm quite unstable physically. What am I there for? Like, I'm not fun to talk to. I don't relate to a lot of things. I can't help with anything. Well, like maybe a little bit, but a lot of times I can't help with things. And if they're like, oh, can you stir this while I'm making dinner? Because we're just hanging out, chill at their house. I might not be able to stand there and stir something. And that is, how am I supposed to expect someone else to understand that? Because that sounds like a really easy, low maintenance energy thing that I could just do for them as they're sitting there making me dinner and hanging out with me and making all of these things and trying to be my friend. And I'm like, nope, can't do that. I feel really high maintenance, and I feel really misunderstood. I don't feel, which is so ridiculous, because what does it matter, to be honest? Like, I don't have to be understood for someone someone doesn't have to completely understand my life and all of the intricacies or whatever about it to be understanding or to have fun with me or to appreciate me or be my friend or any of those things. But for some reason, I feel like they do. And I'm wondering how much of that is like more on me of like, I want someone to understand. I want to talk to someone and then be like, I get it. And to say all of the right things back, as opposed to the other things that I hear people say. And it's like, wow, you're saying that, but you don't have all the information. Or you're saying that, but you obviously haven't gone through something like this. Or you're saying that and you're just assuming I haven't already thought about that, gone through that, talked to my doctors about that, made those lifestyle changes, whatever. And I don't want to sit there and continually explain myself and try to prove to someone that I'm trying hard enough or that what I'm going through is really difficult and it doesn't need to be compared to someone else's life or someone else's difficulties or, whatever else. And then I'm going to say something else that makes me feel really awful and horrible to say. But this is therapy, so, there's confidentiality here, right? And no judgment, right? I also feel like I'm not getting the friend I need, which I feel like is so unfair for me to say, especially if they're going through these hoops and things to be my friend. I'm not even a good friend back. I don't feel like I have anything to give as a friend as far as like any sort of real quality, especially for the quality of friend that I feel like I'm receiving. But at the same time, I feel like I can't talk to them about how I'm feeling or what's going on with me, like medically. If I wanted to be like, oh, this is what's happening, this is what my doctors are saying, this is what's I'm dealing with insurance and this, that, or other, all the complications of being chronically ill and trying to just live life, because a lot of people don't understand. 1, 2, it sounds very whiny, I think, and it's like, okay, well, people have it worse. We all go through hard times. We all have health issues. We all have, and that's true. I don't think that. I don't feel like I'm ever not aware of that either, for many reasons. Anyways, and then 3, apparently I really like numbering things tonight. I just realized that. But 3, I have experienced that some of the things that I want to like talk through or talk about, people are like, they don't want to hear it, which is totally fine. And I get it, but it's like, it's too much. Like, if I wanted to tell someone about having a colonoscopy awake or something like that, apparently that's not something a lot of people want to hear about. They're just like, that's too much for me. And some of the things are a little traumatic to hear about. I don't know. I think maybe it's a little scary for someone else to hear about, like that can happen to someone. I don't know. I mean, it could be a lot of things. Like if you're hanging out with your friends and you're catching up on life and what's going on or venting about things, I don't really get to do that about a majority of my life, because a majority of my life is this right now and has been. And even like mentally and emotionally going through the earlier years of my life that I didn't talk about a lot of these things or am processing them in a whole different light now, this point in my life, knowing more and having more support and talking through things with my doctors and different things and feeling things and changing things and my life, good things and bad things. It's bringing up so much from when I was a kid, didn't know what was happening, and how I lived life, how I felt, how doctors treated me, how adults treated me, how I didn't connect as well with other kids, or how I thought even. I felt like I was managing myself so much as a child, and my health and all of these things, and I was because there was a lot going on, and it wasn't as understood. It doesn't matter. The point is that I want to be able to talk about these things and vent about these things or whatever. And if someone is not there for that, they don't have the emotional space, it's not their strong suit, it's too triggering or something for them, then that means that I keep that inside. And what else do I have to talk about? The weather, which I may or may not even know about or experienced. Because like this whole past week, I was just kind of out of it. I don't know what day it is. I'm just sleeping, waking up, exhausted. You think I knew what the temperature was outside? I didn't. I didn't know what was going on most of the time, Or like even, okay, I want to vent about something else. I was talking to someone and they were all like, you don't hang out with me that much. I don't get to see you that much. And I was like, for the amount of time that I am awake and conscious, I see you. 70% of my awake conscious could be with someone time. Which is crazy because like for me, all of my time that I could be hanging out with someone, I'm hanging out with you for a majority of it, if I have the opportunity. But for you, it feels like nothing, it seems like nothing, and it's insignificant. And I would like to connect this back to when I was saying I don't feel like I have a lot to give as a friend, because other people feel like I don't have enough to give. And whatever I do, well-intentioned on both sides, whatever, it's not good enough for them. I'm not good enough for them. And I don't have a lot of control right now to fix that. And I don't know how long it'll be like that. Or if it'll always be like that. And like I was saying, is like I want to feel like I can be content with my health and life circumstances now, wherever that is. I want to try to be, because that is how it is now. So there's no reason not to be somewhat content, like I'm still trying to do things. Contentment doesn't mean I'm not trying to do more, but not feel like, this is the worst thing in my life and how could I ever live like this. And I mean, I do feel like that probably plenty of the time, but I want to actively try not to feel like that. I want to be grateful for what I do have, for the time that I do have, for the time that I have, like, conscious and awake, whatever, for the strength that I do have, for the healing ability that I do have. I feel like I'm in such a different place than I was at the beginning of the year, a couple months ago, for the support and the access that I have. I've seen so many people on like the internet talk about, wanting to try things or try that, or not being able to find a good doctor or someone to diagnose them or whatever. And I have a doctor who is right there with, I think I'm having a hard time, what if? And it's just so much more affirming to like, well, it sounds like you need this thing, I'll write it up for you, I'll send it, it'll be there at the end of the day. And that's great. Not like, should you be in a wheelchair? Do you really need to use a cane? Or being like, oh, it's all anxiety. If you're saying it's not anxiety, we'll do the test. But she's not there to diagnose me. My doctors are not there to diagnose me and treat me for anxiety. My counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist, they are, but not the other way around. And I have a pretty good foundation with all of that, so I feel like that does help. But not all the doctors understand even. Anyways, very supportive doctors. And just like my physical therapist, she knows so much more about me and my body, which is what I want, right? Like, at what point, reality check here, at what point in my life, for all the practitioners and doctors, the adults around me that were supposed to be taking care of me, anything, at what point was I in the room with someone who really knew more about my body and managing me than I did? Which, normally as a kid, that's what your parents are there for. I think that's what I would want to strive to be as a parent. But when you have a complicated kid and things that aren't very well known and you just are doing your best. And I didn't always talk about my symptoms with my parents because, you know, if you're young and you're like, man, my back hurts, if those words come out of your mouth, there will be someone somewhere just coming out of the woodwork. If you could be in a room alone, you could be in the middle of space, the vacuum, and there would be an adult coming out going, you just wait until you're older, you don't know back pain, your back doesn't hurt. And so that's the end of that. You don't say that anymore. So now I'm not communicating well enough to my parents as a young person about what's really going on with me. The point is I can't stay on the point. The point is that it's really nice to now talk to someone where I'm going, I'm feeling like this, for them to go, it could be this, or maybe it's this, but most likely it's this. So we're going to treat it like this. Here's 3 different options to get you to the same result, and we'll see which one your body likes better, and if it responds to any of those. And then let's add some extra things, because we don't need to just do one thing to attack a problem. No, let's do several things. Let's do that, this, and this. My PT has come to me and talked about like their continuing education of being like, I just read this study. Why don't we try this? Because I just read about this for people with, and it's like, how do you know so much? How do you know so much? I'm grateful that she does, because my goodness, it has been helpful, and not everyone has that. I didn't have that. I'm so grateful for it now. So I want to be grateful for those things. Oh yeah, that was the point. So I want to be grateful for all those things. I want to be content, but I can't expect everyone around me to feel those things too, as regards to me in my life. And I find it to be really isolating. And I also feel like when people are trying so hard to be like, hey, I was thinking we could do this, or this, and I could really help you by doing this, and this. How do I still sound grateful and not like, I don't know, ungrateful, spoiled little brat? How do I not sound ungrateful to be like, no, I still can't do it. I know you want me to come to do this, that, and the other, but I can't make that drive. You know? And then at some point, whether or not they even know what happens, what's going on with me, how much they know about my health stuff, it doesn't really matter. It should, but it doesn't to me, because I will start feeling and having to now fight these feelings of feeling like bitter and sad for myself, because why does someone want me to go here to do this with them so badly? Have fun, go bowling, come see their, kitchen remodel, whatever, at their house, when I can't make that drive without it making me ridiculously ill. Things that would send people to the emergency room in a second because they thought they were dying. And that's what they want from me? That's what they want me to feel. That's what I think, even though that's not right. That's how it feels. Is like, I can't come because I will be really bad off. I will be in an excruciating pain. And it's like, it doesn't always click with people. So it's like, well, I'll come get you. No, I don't want to spend my time and energy right now doing something that's going to make me feel so ill that I'm going to have to do so much work to fix later on and to feel better from, that my husband's going to have to live with the fallout from. My doctors, my things, I'm going to have to go to extra point, like all of these things, to do something with you that is not necessary for me in my life. And it's not because I don't want to do those things. I'm so excited for someone's kitchen remodel or to go bowling. Just kidding. I hate bowling, but I'll go bowling. I have many times, and I'm amazing at it. I've gotten that turkey thing. Isn't that the thing where you just like keep rolling the thing? I've done that before. I'm not really a great bowler anyways, but I have done that. I have done the little turkey thing. I don't know. But I will happily do things and get on board with someone else's life, their excitements, their happiness. I'm so happy for their happiness. I'm so into whatever they're into and their goals and what they're working towards right now. I am, in my heart and soul, I am cheerleader number 1, maybe 2. Maybe 2. But I try to be cheerleader number 1 in their life for whatever they're doing or whatever. But it probably will never come off that way, 1. And 2, it has not been enough for people in my life. Now, here's the thing. I feel like you're probably thinking, well, maybe you should change the people in your life if you've gone through this and they are not understanding and it's causing a rift and they want you to do things that will make you feel ill. My goodness. Then maybe they're not as quality and whatever friend that I think they are. Or maybe they are, but just not for me, not for the kind of person I am or for where I am in my life. I've been thinking the same thing. And I have a couple times in my life backed away from friendships that I loved. People who were like my best friends forevers for many years. And I just kind of ghosted and made my way out because 1, I didn't always have the energy, but 2, I didn't have the energy to be the same friend that I was, or I could see them, like, I'm going to tell you a story. I had a friend, this was a long time ago, I had a friend, and I love them, I still love them, I think they're great, they had kids, they're married. I don't know why that's important to the story, but it is. It is actually important to the story. And I did things with them all the time. They would go, take the kids to the library, do this, the other. And I'm like, do I look like a reader? I don't talk about reading. I actually do like reading. I'm like, yes, the library. I want to go. I want to hang out. I want to, and I did. I loved it. I felt like when you're friends with someone and it's more like your family. And that's where I want to be. I want to be on family status. I want to be so good at friends with someone I'm family. And if not, like, what am I doing here? I loved that, but they were about to have another child. And I love babies. I love families. And I may or may not be able to have my own and be a mother at some point in the future. And then even if I could, am I really going to choose it? I don't know. A lot of people don't choose to be moms, though. I don't know. Anyways, the point is I was so excited, but the season of life that I was seeing them going into with another new baby and having to take care of themselves as pregnant, take care of their baby, their family, themselves as postpartum, like all of these things. And I was getting worse. I was having a hard time with things in my life, even emotionally. I had some, crazy things happening. And I felt like there was no way that I could put those things on them or talk about those things. I couldn't do it. But I was hurting so much, physically and emotionally, that I couldn't keep it inside, and I needed help. And I wasn't going to ask help from a pregnant woman. Pregnant women can do amazing things, okay? My mom was pregnant once, and I don't know it's the middle of the night. What do you expect from me? Why do I think I'm funny? Anyways, it's weird to think that we were so close, and I still feel so close to her, and I still want to be her friend so bad. And now I feel like I'm so different, not even necessarily as a person, but I do feel like I'm very different health-wise. And so how do I come back into someone's life and be like, oh, we used to go to McDonald's all the time. I can't go to McDonald's, you know? And we're gonna have to go here, we're gonna have to do this. Like, everything's gonna have to be on my terms. And I like my friendships to be as much on someone else's terms as possible. Maybe my friends don't feel like that, but it's just like, it's gonna have to change the dynamics. And then as I change, then do the dynamics have to change again? Do I have the energy for that? Do I have the emotional maturity for that? Do other people? Why is living life so complicated? It's me, right? I'm making it more complicated than it needs to be. I know I am. Okay, I've sat here and, well, one, I got some things done that were on my to-do list. I have a whole basket full of folded laundry here, and I think that's pretty amazing. Look at me, I'm productive. I'm doing things in life. But also, I feel like we've made some emotional breakthroughs. If anything, at least progress, right? Like we're going somewhere. We're thinking things, we're feeling things, we're working it out. So even if I don't have the emotional maturity to do this, I will, because I'm figuring it out. We love growth and improvement, don't we? I do. I really need to get a real therapist, don't I?